Morning. It's Vince from Listings to Leads, and we're running late, and I really want to apologize. But I got stuck on a call with somebody who's been a client for a number of years, and he basically is saying, "Hey, I'm trying this. I've been doing it for a long time. I love what you got, but I'm not actually getting business from it." And I think that's something that we should all talk about. And I told him a little bit about what he is doing and what he is not doing. And so the point of today's class is, how do you get more listings? And normally when I go through this, I talk about, here are the things you need to do. Okay. And I do want to point out that there's a handout here in the chat panel. And I recommend everybody grab that and go ahead and open up. There's a handout section. I'm going to open it up over here. And I want to talk through it because I think what I want to do is address what this guy was saying. This guy's been with us for a long time. He is capturing leads, but they're not actually turning into business. He's like, I'm getting a lot of tire kickers. I'm not getting people ready to act. And there were a couple of things that I had to talk with him about one, to make ads more effective, and two, and how to actually convert leads. And it was kind of an unusual discussion, and I got sucked into it, and that's why I'm late. Again, I want to apologize. This letter here tells you the things you need to do. So I'm going to refer back to this, but I want you to have it. And I want to make sure that you are hitting these bullet points. You don't need to do all of them every week, but you definitely need to do all of them every month. And I'm going to read you to them, right? I'm going to read them to you right now, and we can talk about it, right? Mail out the nearby homeowner letter to local homeowners. I'll show you what that is. That's one of our strongest tools. It doesn't capture 20 or 50 leads at a time. It captures maybe 2 or 3 or 5, but they're high quality leads, and you need to really work those the hardest. Run ads on Facebook for pending, under contract, and sold listings. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. Create a property valuation page for each farm area. Of course, you want to do that. And once you've done that, run ads on Facebook and Google with those home valuation pages. Mail the home sold report to homeowners. Once you create item number 3, which is create a property valuation page, when you click advanced options, we have already created a home sold report for you. You just got to go download it and update it and use it, mail it. Mail out just sold postcards, blast your e-flyer for your CRM, and then get sellers to share your tool. And then advanced options, upload a homeowner custom audience to Facebook for better targeting. Okay. So I just read through what's on this piece of paper. Hopefully you've downloaded it and you will print it. Just from this point right here, are there any questions? Is anything here that you don't understand? We're going to go right through this and tackle all these things, but I'm going to go through it quickly so that I can add a little more knowledge, basically, of some things that you need to do to make sure that these become effective. The first thing I'm going to say is the gentleman who I was speaking with doesn't do things very consistently, right? He doesn't. Every once in a while, he'll go do that. When you think about this term here, and I'm sure you've all thought about it because you're all in real estate, just this term right here under number 3, create a property valuation page for each farm area. A farm area needs to be worked, right? And so you've got to pick your area, and maybe it's 2 or 3 areas, and you got to work that consistently. Yeah. Not sure how to target. Vanessa, we're going to talk about that. That's a big issue. And that's where custom audiences, number 9, becomes a big deal here. If we're talking about getting listings and we're talking about getting listing leads from Facebook, targeting is really a critical issue. And it's the first reason why things don't work out really well, right? We'll talk about that. I'm going to jump into this tool right here, and I'm going to walk you through this in about 15 minutes. Okay. Because I want you to see all these things and know where to get them. Right. But then I'm going to go into how you can tweak some of these activities to make them more effective. And that was one of the things that the gentleman I was speaking with wasn't even thinking of. And I understand it. So let's go here. First of all, number one on that list is under the listings page, right? It is mail out the nearby homeowner letter to local homeowners. That's number one on our list. How do you get there? You get a listing in your account. If you don't have your own listing, you can borrow a listing. If you've got a colleague or somebody in your office that's got a listing and you ask them, you just grab back the listing, it's going to pull it in. And here, when we click on market listing, you may or may not know we create a bunch of tools for your listing. But when you have a listing, we're really focused a lot on getting buyers, but there are some tools that are specifically designed to help you get more listings with your listing. And the number one tool is Nearby Homeowner Letter. It's right here on this list. And there are 3 versions of it. Okay. So I'm going to download one. They just look different, but they have the same kind of concepts on them and they have the same kind of call to actions. And so let's look at it real quickly. Again, this is the Nearby Homeowner Letter. It's very simple, right? I've got a home for sale in your area. You can go here, you can scan it and go find out about it. You're going to become a buyer lead. But all of our print tools always say this: when your home is sold, it will affect your home value. So go here and go get your free home. Now, you may have seen this kind of page. There are a lot of great companies that have these. We've had them for years. A lot of realtors learn, hey, if I run an ad on Facebook, that's going to be cool. That's going to work out for me. That is and was a strategy. But the real thing to think of is if you get people to that page with a piece of paper instead of a Facebook ad, it's going to be a much more valuable lead. Okay. And that's what you want to think of. There are a lot of activities on this list, and some leads are higher quality than others, right? So you need to wrap your arms around that. And let's just get back to this letter and let's talk about it. So this letter, you need to get out in the market. And this has been the top tool for our clients. And they have literally downloaded this, printed up 100 or 200 copies. They stuff it in their own envelopes. They used to do it in bright, colorful envelopes so that it wouldn't be thrown away as junk mail. And even some of our clients would handwrite the addresses to make sure people opened the letter. As you can see, it's not super sexy. It's not artificial intelligence or algorithms. It is a piece of paper. And it just says, I got something for sale in your neighborhood, and that's going to affect your home value. So what is going on? You are mailing it to homeowners, and some will throw it away. And the people who open it, who have interest in their home value, will walk to their own computer and type in that address and then give you their address and their email address. If they go through those steps, that's one of the highest quality seller leads you're going to find anywhere. Okay. That's called a Nearby Homeowner Letter. Now, our clients have been doing this for years and they've been doing it all by hand, but it hasn't been a year, maybe 6 months. We launched a partnership with Express Copy. Okay. And if you have your own Express Copy account, you can click here where it says print and mail. And this is pretty awesome. You click this button that says Circle Prospect, and you can change the radius if you want, but you can say, hey, you know what? I want a 1 or 2 mile radius and mail 100 of these to the homeowners that have owned their homes for 6 years or more. Okay. You could do this yourself. You don't have to use Express Copy. We just got this partnership because we know realtors are business or are busy, and we know they don't want to do this kind of work, right? But it costs $1.80 per letter in groups of 100 letters, right? That might make a ton of sense to you, right? It's going to hit people with equity surrounding my current listing, right? Submit the order, They stuff the envelopes, they label them, they mail them. You don't touch it. However, whether you use these guys or whether you do it yourself, you want to use this letter in your market at least once a month, if not twice a month. A lot of our clients who have listings will mail this letter out every time they get a listing, and they'll mail it out again for the same property when they've sold the listing, because it's just so valuable in their market that they want people to know that I am, one, by getting homes sold, and two, that's always going to affect your home value. So if you have a farm market and it's like a part of the city, or it is a small town or something like that, and you're targeting that, and you don't have listings in that area, you might call a colleague who does have a listing in that area and say, "Hey, can I use your stuff I use your listing to market and I want to go get some leads." And if they say yes, you pull the listing in, and then this tool is going to be made available here for you. So that's item number one on that list, right? Item number two is run Facebook ads on pending, sold, and under contract. And I am going to go over here to, well, let's see. I'm going to go right here. Now, this ad, I don't know if you can see the address. It says it's up in Wisconsin, but I'm going to show you one of the issues that this realtor is having. Okay. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to target here. Let me see if I can see if this works. Is it New Kensington? Let's do this. So you choose your town. Now this isn't exactly the right property, but you choose your town, and this one's for sale. Let me go over here real quickly, and let me do a quick search over here. I want to show you what I'm going to get into is one of the issues that this guy was having, which I think a lot of people, yeah, so that's not it. Okay. It's not going to work there. We're back at listings. We were talking about item number two on that list, and that is running ads on property that are pending and sold. Okay. And a lot of agents forget to do that. And you're leaving money on the table if you forget that step. Obviously, when you have a listing, you want to get buyers, and running ads on Facebook is the fastest, easiest way to do that. But if you have a property that's sold and you run a Facebook and Google ad, now this is a really easy way to go. But here's the thing about this. Now, I was mentioning the call I was having before this. And yeah, I've done this and I didn't really get a lot of results. And I said, okay, I get it. And so one thing is this language here, it says this home is sold. That's going to affect your home value. Click here. That makes sense, right? It makes sense what it's saying. It maybe not be very effective though, right? And what makes an ad like this more effective is if you say in contract in 10 days, right? This has to be factual information, but if you've got a home selling quickly, let people know. If you got more money for it, let people know. And if you have multiple offers, let people know. This will slow more people down than and it's not that you're writing poetry here. It's just stuff that's going to be relevant. If I own a home, now I know you can do it quickly and I know you can get it sold for a good amount. You want to take just those steps to make that kind of work. But there is a bit of a challenge in running an ad. And we won't go to the Philly model. We'll just use this Granite Bay. This home is in Granite Bay. And let's go look at what happens if you run an ad in Granite Bay on Facebook. I don't know if you know this, but Granite Bay is a neighborhood in California, right? And this little example is going to be relevant for you if you have a lot of towns around you, if they're butted up right next to you. So let's look at it together and I'll show you why ads for sellers can often on Facebook can not work well at all. And that's what this guy was saying is got it. And so somebody here was asking, I don't know how to target. And so that's what we're talking about right here. This area right here, where there's this little umbrella that says Granite Bay Beach, this is all Granite Bay right about here, right? It's not a big area, but when you put a 15-mile radius, everybody around, let's see, that might be a little bit wide. I don't know why it's acting like that. Yeah, everybody in this map area is going to see my Granite Bay ad. And that's not what you want. And that's what can make the ad super ineffective. I'm talking about Granite Bay because maybe it's my farm market, but the ads I'm running are going on every one of these little towns. And so that ad becomes really close to being ineffective. That is a problem with targeting. Okay. When we run it out on Facebook, you will notice you cannot get your radius any tighter than 15 miles. If we had been talking 5 years ago, you could literally say, I want people who own a home in Granite Bay only to see this. And that made Facebook incredibly powerful. But then Facebook got slapped by HUD for doing illegal ads. And so you can't do that anymore. Right. And that's why when you go over to my little cheat sheet here, and it says advanced, upload a homeowner custom audience to Facebook, that's when you can make Facebook work. Okay. And so what does that mean? This, you have to go to your ads page in this account. And when you go here, it's going to tell you the first time, if you've never been to this page, it's going to say connect to Facebook. And then it's going to say connect to Google. And you want to connect to Facebook and to Google. But then once you've done that and you've turned on, you've accepted custom audience, there'll be some message. I'll show you where they are in just a second once we get there. When we click on, you can see here, I've got create Facebook ad, create Google ad. And then there's this button that says create audience. If you don't have this button, it's because you have a yellow message over here telling you to accept some terms like custom audience terms and turn on retargeting. Right here, once you got that live, you can create an audience like Granite Bay homeowner. And then you upload a list of leads. It's got to be at least 1,000 leads long. Excuse me. You want the spreadsheet to look just like this when you hover over and use this format. Okay, so you get the spreadsheet. You can buy that from remind.com, I think from RedX, maybe HomeSnap, maybe homes.com. And maybe your MLS has it, or maybe your title partner has that. However you get it, make sure it's 1,000 leads long and upload it. And this, you import it, it lives inside your Facebook account. And if you're going to be in real estate for a while, you definitely want to have these target lists for your farm market. And if you decide, hey, you know what? We're not going to work with Scott Vince anymore. Like, I'm tired of listing leads. You can cancel, but your lists are going to live in your Facebook ad manager and you'll always be able to use it. We're just making it incredibly easy. You click this button, you give it a title, and you upload the spreadsheet and you import it. And then it's going to live there. And then after that, now if you say, okay, now I want to create an ad on a home, maybe that's sold, right? In this case, I'm going to do something that is sold. I think we have it down here. Coming soon. Here's sold Granite Bay, right? So I click create an ad and I would customize the text. Oh, we'll wait for it to come again. I would customize that text with any relevant points that is going to make you click that ad. But instead of targeting here where it says Granite Bay and a 15-mile radius, which you know what problems that's going to create, I would take that out and I would check this box here where it says retarget current leads. And I would type in Granite Bay homeowners. Now I don't have one, but I do have a couple of others. So here's a custom audience list. Right. So if I had one called Granite Bay, it would just be like, bang, do it right. So that's how you make Facebook very effective. You don't need to do what I just showed you, meaning worry about custom audiences when you're looking for buyers, because it's just not necessary. But when you're looking for sellers and you want to use Facebook, I think this is a must that you need to do. It's the last item on the list. And then we put it under advanced because it's not like default stuff. You actually have to go find the list. You got to clean it up, put it in the right format, which I showed you there when you click the button, and upload it. So it's advanced. But if you're going to have listings in your business and you want to use Facebook for ads, it's going to take a little bit of time. So we talked about creating property valuation page. We didn't, but let's go over here and look. If you go to landing pages, you should have a home valuation page for every one of your farm markets. And if I look here, let's see if we got one here. Let's see if we have. I think we got one. We should actually create one. Scott lives over at Granite Bay, and we often use that as an example. But what it's telling you in this letter is create one and then run ads on Facebook and Google on it. So if I have created a landing page here for my favorite farm market, then I can use Facebook and that's, again, we just talked about running a sold ad, but we definitely want to make sure that we're using the same retargeting list for our area. Now, I don't want to use Dublin. I'm going to use Pleasanton here. So we've got a landing page for Pleasanton. I can go over here to ads and I can run an ad on it. Now, Pleasanton is it's not near Granite Bay. It's in another town here in Northern California, but it has the same problem that Granite Bay has, which is it's surrounded by other towns and it's a small kind of town. And so if you run an ad on Facebook with its default settings, you're looking at ad in all these other towns, right? So your ads are not very effective and you're wondering, like, I'm doing what they're telling me to do, but I'm not getting the results I want. And so let's go to create a landing page ad. So last time we were creating a sold ad. This time we're going to create a landing page ad for Pleasanton. And I'm going to create an ad, right? And we'll see it written here. And notice the language on the top. This language is not super eye-popping. August home sales in Pleasanton are in, right? That means your value is changing. You, however, might actually know, and I'm going to click the back button. Let me click the back button because there's a step that I skipped and it might actually be really useful for me not to skip it. So we're going to do a landing page ad again. Oh, and that scary picture is really scary. That's insane. California. What I want is 94566. When you're running an ad on a landing page, it actually asks you for the zip code. So I'm going to do that and we'll look at it here. Hold on, guys. I'm having a wacky day today. My power's cord falling off of my computer. Give me 1 second. This whole thing could just collapse. All right, we're good. Where are we? Creating ads for a landing page. We're creating it for home value for Pleasanton. And it asks the zip code. And normally I skip this, but I'm going to do this because it might actually be 9566. And then create ad. So now when we create the ad, I think it's going to do something. Yeah. It adds the highest priced home. So it's looking at the zip code and it says 16 homes is sold in Pleasanton in August in the previous month. And the highest price was here. You might actually have some other data points that's going to make this, again, more effective. But that's definitely something that I would say. You might know, hey, the median price is, I don't know, $1 million, right? Whatever it is, right? Don't target here with location. You want to retarget with your custom audience, right? And it's going to be, in this case, Pleasanton homeowners. This is really, I think you need to make sure you're adding some data points about what happened recently in your market, and you need to be using custom audiences. If you want listings, if you want listing leads from Facebook, okay. And so when we look here at this, it's saying create a property valuation page, run ads on Facebook and Google. Okay. And let's just go back here to ads and let's see how would we do that on Google. Google's actually a little bit simpler. We go to create out on Google. We choose our same landing page. And you might want to think about doing these things at the exact same time. So again, when we're talking about farm markets, the term farm kind of lends itself to realize like you got to work the farm, not just throw some seeds on it and walk away. Like you got to work the farm. And so when we're working a farm, because we want more listings out of it, you want to do multiple actions. And one of them is Facebook. Lots of people sitting in Pleasanton are on Facebook all day long, right? A lot of people, 86% of all people in the United States, if they have a question, they go to Google. So you can target people who live in Pleasanton and you can say, hey, you know what? If they ask any relevant question to real estate, I want them to land on that page and get their free home done. All you got to do is click publish. I clicked on view link so you could look at it so you knew where you're driving, but all you got to do is say, I want that landing page targeting anybody sitting in that city. Here's some other important facts. These are all the keywords that we put in automatically for you. Anytime you use any different landing page or PDF guide, we look at the topic of that and we put in the relevant keywords so that if somebody asks a question with any of these keywords, you have the likelihood of popping up. All this stuff here, this is the challenge of what do we say, of writing an ad on Google. All this stuff we're doing automatically. You don't even have to worry about it. I'm just showing you just to show you what it is. But that's how you get to be on Google. And so here we're saying, create the property valuation page. You know now the hurdle that you got to deal with for Facebook, which is get a custom audience. And now you know how to run an ad on Google. You should be running ads on both platforms, on Facebook and Google, even at the same time. There's a home sold report. Where is that? If I go back to landing pages, and you remember this listing letter, this is talking about a listing, right? And let's go back here to landing pages. And you know that I've got a Pleasanton landing page because we just ran it on Facebook and on Google. But if I click on edit tools, edit and tools, you can edit. You should always put on the back of your landing page a photograph of a major landmark. This is downtown Pleasanton. You can see that landmark. You know that you're a local. You want somebody to know you're a local when you see this. After you click advanced options on the top, you will see that you can turn on auto posting to have it go to your socials. You can also click on print marketing and get this letter. And this letter looks a lot like the nearby homeowner letter, the one that's associated to a listing. But this one is not about a listing. It's just about the area, right? And it says, hello, August sales are in. You should edit this page before you download, right? And just say 30 homes sold in August. The high was here. The median's here. That affects your home guide. The point of this piece of paper is people should glance at it, make a quick decision like, hey, do I need my home value? They will walk this piece of paper to their own computer and go give you the information to get their home value. If they type in their address, let me just show you. You're mailing this to people who live in Pleasanton. And if they type in their address and they give you their address, like this, they click market analysis. And many people, we're going to go to page 2 of this landing. Page 2 says, hey, here's your home on a map and your analysis is ready. Give us your contact information. A lot of people will leave, but we will email you their address. And so they're going to know, you're going to know that, hey, these people are interested. They just didn't want to give you their contact information. If they do give you their contact information, you need to jump on that and be hitting them up consistently. These are very high quality leads when you're mailing a letter like that. And there is a postcard version and there's a door hanger version. And just like we did with this one where I showed you the nearby homeowner letter, you can actually say, hey, you know what? I want to get this in the market once a month, but I don't want to touch it. So I'm going to let Express Copy mail that for me. They're going to download it. They're going to stuff it in envelopes. They're going to label it, and I'm just going to pay for it. I do want to point something out while I keep mentioning Express Copy. We don't have any financial relationship with it. We have a technical relationship, meaning you can actually mail to them. We're not getting any override or percentage or nothing like that. We just know it's the most important tool we've got. We want to make it easier for you to get it into your market. So that is called the Home Sold Report. It's number 5. Mail just sold postcards to local homeowners. You can use, let's go back to the listings here. You take your sold properties and there are postcards. We'll find one right now. And you don't have to use Express Copy to do that. You might have your own printers, but let's see. I've got a sold property here and I've got postcards for every listing right here. And when a home is sold, let's see here. It says, hey, this home is sold. Go to this web address, visit this web address to go learn about it. And on the back, that's not good. On the back, it's going to say your home value has been affected. You may not know this, but print's been around a lot longer than the internet. But if you ask a realtor about their ROI on print, it's like the eyeballs just roll right back in the head because nobody gets an ROI from print because they don't know how to put URLs on. We do it for you automatically. I'm sure many of you are coming from great companies with great branding and you got postcards, but do your postcards get leads? The answer is typically no. From the best houses, from the best brands, no. It's all about branding. That's what these big national brands are for. Make sure you've got the right color scheme and the right logo, but most real estate advertising in print is calling, right? And that's awesome if people are calling you, but I don't think anybody's getting a ton of phone calls right now. So using things with URLs built in to give people free home values is a good way to go if you want more listings. Again, you can use print mail here with Express Copy and tell them, hey, mail it to people with equity around this home. Now, the one thing about postcards, and you can use your own judgment, postcards don't even get in my house. I sort my mail before I even walk in the house. Some people, they read everything that it comes to them. So you test it out. Maybe the nearby homeowner letter works out better. Maybe the postcard works out better. But there are all ways to get listings, and that's why it's here on there. And then blast an e-flyer for each of your listings, for each status. And there's always an e-flyer for your database. And if you have a lot of leads, like the gentleman I was talking to just a bit ago, he said he had 2,000 to 3,000 leads in his CRM. And I'm like, you got to be blasting this out. If you got that volume, you got to knock one of these out every week, right? On any status. I got something just listed. I got something sold. I got an open house. Because up top, you can become a lead. And every time at the bottom, we're going to tell you that affects your home value. And you can now get your free home value from a flyer via your CRM. Definitely use that. So that's an e-flyer for you, and get your seller to share their tool. Yeah. So this is something that most agents don't even know what this is. Well, what I'm going to tell you. But right here, it says listing presentation. Please download the listing presentation and look at it. And you're going to see that it talks about, hey, here are some tools that I have designed for you, homeowner. And because we're going to be saying, hey, you're definitely leveraging social media. We're not telling them listings to leads is doing it. We got your logo. We got your pictures on every page. So get the listing presentation and look at it yourself. And you're going to realize that, hey, we've got a tool for your homeowners that you send to your homeowner. And it's called the seller social media tool, right? And you send it to them, you call them and you say, hey, you know what? I've got a tool. I've just sent it to you. Would you copy it, put it on your Facebook wall? We got you covered. We got you, the agent, covered. We got tools that can automatically go to your socials. We've even got a way for you to run an ad on Facebook in one click. But this is something that sits on your client's wall. And when the home is sold, it's going to say, hey, our home is sold. We want to recommend you at your office. And here's your phone number and email right in front of all my friends and family to see. So it's really a pre-written testimonial. You want to get comfortable using these. So start by downloading the listing presentation and start by using that. So when we look at this list, we've just covered everything on this list. Do you have any questions about what I've talked about today? I am going to go into a couple more things, but this is the nuts and bolts of how you apply this list and how you get to it. I don't hear anything. Everybody knows what they got to do now. It sounds like. No questions about targeting. I want to say this, and this is probably, and I've said it a little bit while we were talking, and that is what we've talked about is Google. We've talked about Facebook. We've talked about print mailing into your markets and also hitting your CRM. Okay. You want to think of this kind of 4 different channels, right? And real advertising, a real advertising strategy is going to involve hitting all of those channels consistently all the time, right? Now, there is obviously a budget to that, right? And you got to think about that. But if you're going to be in the listing business, you already know that there's a cost to getting listings, right? So you figure out what your cost is and how you're going to split your budget into Google. Why should you be thinking about Google, right? It's just the number one website in the United States, and 86% of all searches start on Google. Okay. So that's why you need to be on Google. You know that you've got our landing pages. One thing I forgot to mention, Jesus, excuse me. Wow. We totally blew it. Shit. We're told, boy, I got to apologize. We have a PDF guide section here, and there are 40 PDF guides of various topics. It's not even mentioned on that thing there. But I'm going to do one here because I know people have called me recently about what can we do for foreclosures. If you click on market listing, you can run an ad on Facebook and Google for how to avoid foreclosure, right? We can actually post this automatically to your social media posts. You got an e-flyer for your database, copy and paste that and blast it out on your CRM and postcards, print flyers. All of these solutions all have lead capture in front of them. You got 40 different PDF guides. And if you download one, you can download it right here. You can read it and you're going to notice that you are branded on every page of every one of these guides. I definitely recommend that you're using these as well. Okay. And think about it this way. If you're running an ad on Google and maybe this month you're running something on living trusts on Google, right? And maybe next week it's estate planning and real estate, right? And you can just see there's a ton of topics that you can leverage here. Here's the one, how to avoid foreclosure, right? Your menu does not have the same options. What option are you missing, Vanessa? So definitely incorporate the PDF guide into this. So we're talking about run ads on Google. I would say that you're running an ad for home values every other week on Google, and that you're running a PDF guide ad every other week because they're different topics, right? I don't just to think about cost, a seller lead on Google in Dallas, Texas costs $30 each. Okay. Those are the most expensive seller leads we can help you get. Now, that's actually not 100% correct because if you are living in Manhattan, New York, my guess is Facebook is going to charge you more for that same exact kind of lead. Okay. But if I live in Manhattan, New York, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be running an ad on divorce and real estate because that's going on all year long, right? You can do that, but you're going to pay more, right? If I live in Elko, Nevada, which has 1,000 people, I'm probably going to pay less for the same kind of lead. Cost per lead on Google and Facebook is different depending on where you're sitting in the country. In or the listing presentation. Okay. Oh, so if everybody goes to their listings page and Vanessa's saying this doesn't look the same way. I have listing presentation right here in this button. You probably have listing presentation in a white button right next to add listing. We're just going to move it down here because we just think it's cleaner to do it here. Vanessa, do you see listing presentation on the top of your listings page? Are the ads that you run, you pay extra for leads? No, you don't pay extra for leads. Let's run an ad real quickly on, you don't pay extra. You do pay for the ad, right? So if I click on Facebook and Instagram, here we're doing an ad on a property that's for sale. It's a $35 ad for 7 days. And when you run an ad, it's gonna maximum spend $35 and it's gonna maximum run for 7 days, right? Now, but when you're running an ad, Facebook looks at your ad. You'll notice that there's always a message like they're going to review it. So they look at it and they go, okay, what are you trying to get? And it's buyer leads. Okay. On average, Facebook will set it at, they'll say, okay, buyer leads cost $3 each, right? Maybe $3.25, maybe $2.50 each. So if it's $3 and you divide 3 into 35, you're going to get 11 leads. Okay. When you're running an ad on a property that's sold, we change that budget to $50. And we do that because seller leads cost more on Facebook. And when you're running a home that's sold, it's often $7 each. If you run an ad on a property that's pending or under contract, those are going to get you listing leads, but Facebook doesn't know how to charge that. And those are the best deals. Those leads cost $2.50. I was just talking when that guy, he's in Philly, just for talking, a seller lead in Pennsylvania usually costs $25 each. So if you've got a $50 ad running, meaning you spend $50 a day and leads cost $25, you're only going to get 2 leads a day. So Adam, it's pay per click. It's not more. In order to create your homeowner custom audience, what program are you using to pull this information? Guys, where would you buy a list of homeowners in a town? I think Remind.com is a solution. And I think HomeSnap and RedX are all companies that allow you to do that. You might, I'm sure there are others. I think CoreLogic may do that. CoreLogic's does so many things. They probably have that. But that's something I have clients who work in big metropolitan areas and they are buying a list of 10,000 homeowners at a time, right? They're just doing everything to dominate the cities that they want to dominate. And you need to think about that in terms of, am I being effective at print? Am I effective on Facebook? And am I effective on Google? I will tell you this. We talked about Google. It's the number 1 website in the country. Number 2 is YouTube. And I really don't know if it's effective in real estate advertising. But number 3 is Facebook. And whether you like Facebook or not, 70% of American adults spend 40 minutes every day scrolling through this. Okay. And here you can see I can buy work boots, or it might just say, hey, I got an open house this month, right? Or this week. And so that's why Facebook ads can be so effective. We're here looking at what our friends are eating and all kinds of fun stuff. But we didn't come here when we had a question. When we had a question, we went to Google. But it's still very effective because people are here all the time. I don't know if you've seen these little battery things here, but people are running ads. Yes. Hello, Lindsay. Yeah. So that's my story for today, guys. And I think the one last thing I want to say about this is look at the channels that I talked about. Print your CRM, do e-blasting on your CRM, Facebook and Google, and make sure that you are using tools in those areas, in those 4 channels every month, right? Ideally, you're doing it every week, but at least once a month in all 4 of those channels. I hope you understand this and I hope you can apply it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks. And Lindsay, yeah, I was there this year. It was tough. Anyway, I don't see any more questions. Thank you for joining me today. And my apologies for being late. I was talking on a phone call with somebody who was really struggling with this, what we're struggling with right now. And really the points for him, and that's why I went on this path today, his consistency is definitely was not there. And the other thing, and I'm going to tell you one last thing before I let you go. The other thing is when he's running ads on Facebook, he's just doing it default. He's not targeting. It's not really super effective. The last thing, and I want to tell you this because I don't talk about it too often, but he has thousands of leads, like over 2,000 leads, and he's captured them all from being with us, running ads and doing stuff. Right. And he drops those leads in KV Core and just that's it. And I told him this and I said, I want you guys to understand this as well. You should have a CRM connected for your leads. If you don't have a CRM, we have follow-ups right here with your actual drip campaign. Okay. And yours won't look as messy as ours. You'll have a buyer follow-up and a seller follow-up. So we know if it's a buyer or seller lead, turn them on. If you're in a market where you're doing stuff in Spanish, turn those on too. Right. And when you turn that on, our drip campaigns are actually really effective and they come on pretty fast right up front. And if you're getting leads with phone numbers, which if you're using our Facebook ad platform, you are, don't try to call them. They don't know you. You want to use multiple texts. You want to text them. You want to use your email drip campaigns. And if you got BombBomb, use that too, but always approach it from the perspective of I'm busy helping people, but I see you have an inquiry. Can I help you? And then just pepper them with you without question. I think you want to touch a lead a dozen times in the first 3 days. That's 3 or 4 times a day, right? That's, I think, the smartest way of converting a lead. If you will find out not much time where they'll just be like, no, I don't need help. But if you're asking the right questions and they're responding, you got somebody that needs your help. A lot of things when we talk about Facebook, if you talked to me a couple of years ago, you might have had a reasonable argument to say, hey, these leads are just not that great. But I think, I'm not sure where you're sitting, but for most of our clients, inventory is tight and finding the home is not easy. And if people are seeing your ads on Facebook, we're getting a lot of people saying we're getting multiple buyer leads from just one $35 ad. You should be able to take advantage of that as well. You do have to do some extra steps to make Facebook work for you, but those leads cost less and you create that custom audience and you leverage it that way. So everybody, thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I think we have another call this week. You go to leadgenwebinars.com. What's that? Sorry. Leadgenwebinars.com. Facebook and Google ads. So we'll just be talking about Facebook and Google on Thursday. All right, everybody. Take care. And oh, I'm going to give you one last pro tip. It's early. We don't even have to look that far out, but it's fall, right? The kids are back in school. You're going to work hard. Thanksgiving's going to come and everybody's going to want to take a nap. When they take naps, keep advertising on Facebook and Google. Your lead cost drops because your competitors have gone to sleep waiting for spring. Don't wait for spring. Build up your database at a much lower cost through the holidays. Okay. That's my story for today. How do I download the slide? I think, Vanessa, go over to handouts in the chat, in the GoToMeeting chat panel. There's a section that says handouts. Open it up and there is a handout. Okay. I'll leave this running for a minute, try to download it pretty quickly, and then I'm going to shut this thing down. All right, everybody. Thanks so much and have a great fall.